All right, everybody, good afternoon. We've got an actual practice report today. We've got a real practice that the Seahawks participated in, and I'll tell you, the news is pretty good. The information we got today was encouraging, and I think we as Seahawks fans are going to feel a little more optimistic after today. So we've got the latest info. This is from Nemhauser's account. I saw it from Greg Bell, saw it from Condotta as well, so it's not just coming from him. It's pretty well confirmed. So let's go ahead and take a look at the injury report. So Thursday, we're looking at this side of the column. You can see DNP got pretty good today. Pretty clean on this side. Pretty positive, I would say, right? Because you're seeing three guys there. And one of them is Byron Murphy, who I've already said I don't think he's going to play this week. Not surprised by that. I'd be very surprised if he did participate in any practice this week. The other two guys who did not practice today were Jonathan Hankins for personal reasons not related to the injury, and Tyrese Knight, even though he is injured, or at the very least hurt. It's pretty clear that the reason why he did not participate was also a personal reason. We don't know what it is. Not really any of our concern. Point is, Tyrese Knight, if you look at the practice report yesterday, was expected to have been able to practice in full with the knee injury. So it is overwhelmingly likely that Tyrese Knight is only being held out of practice because of a personal reason. So you've got one guy who did not participate in practice today for an actual injury-related reason, and that player is Byron Murphy, who, I'm sorry, that's just what I expected at this point. So, pretty good, right? This is a pretty good state to be in if you're a Seahawk. You're feeling good about this as a fan of the Seahawks right now. So, that part of it, hey, great news. We got the word we needed to get on guys like Dodson and guys like Mafe. I'd even say guys like Jerome Baker, you're also going to be encouraged on because they didn't go the wrong way, right? So, limited participation, this list got a little bit longer. But again, if you're limited on Thursday, you're probably going to be good to go, especially if you were also limited on Wednesday, which many of these players were. So, some of these players, them being here is kind of, we knew. Like Pharaoh Brown, Noah Fant, Tyler Lockett, Nwosu, Young, Williams, we pretty much knew they were going to be here, right? Dodson making the upgrade from DNP to LP is obviously big. Mafe, this is kind of a relief that he was able to do something today. Baker being able to practice 2 days in a row, very encouraging. Walker continues to be limited on this Thursday, as was Metcalf. So actually, if you take a look at it, you can see that both guys were full yesterday, or projected to be full yesterday. So maybe a little bit of concern there, but more than likely those guys are, relatively speaking, veterans, so they're probably just getting a little bit of a pullback on practicing on a Thursday. Like both those guys, they're locked in, they're good to go, we're happy. So don't need to push them all the way in practice. So I don't know if this is an indication that things have gotten worse. And then, of course, Nwosu and Williams, at least you can say they didn't go the wrong way. So good stuff there. Indications they will be able to play on Sunday. If they don't, I would be surprised. And of course, Cam Young remains limited. I wouldn't expect him this week. He's probably got to get back into game shape, but he's on his way. And that's not nothing. That's not nothing. Having another nose tackle that we can use that isn't undersized to a critical degree like Reed is, pretty valuable. I don't love the idea of having Byron Murphy having to play nose tackle a lot, personally. If we can take a little bit of that load off of him, let him play more 3-tech, and have Cam Young in the 1-tech role, or nose tackle role, or whatever you want to call it. Some people still call it nose guard from the old days. That's, that's good news. So it's a long list. We're not loving it, but most, if not all of these guys should be able to play on Sunday. The one exception, I think, would be Young, because he does need to get back into football shape. All right, full participation list. Some good news here, mostly centered around Julian Love. Julian Love was limited in theory, yesterday. In practice, a full participant today. So every reason to believe he will be 100% good to go this weekend against his former team. Also trending the right direction was Brady Russell. He had a full participation after being projected to be limited yesterday. Not that he plays a lot, but he's here. He's a player. He's on the team. Anthony Bradford remains a full participant. Should be fine. Should be good to go. Derek Hall still a full participant. Rayshon Jenkins, full participant with the hand injury. And Kayvon Wallace, full participant with the shoulder. So, if I'm reading this correctly, nobody came off the injury list completely. Like, nobody went from not being listed to being listed, if I'm counting correctly. But there was definitely forward progress for a lot of key guys, and some guys also stayed where they needed to stay to be on track to be able to play on Sunday. So definitely good news here. Definitely happy with most of what I see. Of course, you'd prefer these lists be a lot shorter, but we should have most of the troops. Okay, so that's the Seahawks side of things. I'm encouraged. Let's take a look at the Giants side of things. Theirs is obviously a lot shorter, but it's not really good either. Malik Nabers, that's the big one, right? If he was going to have a chance to play on Sunday, he probably needed to practice today. It looks like he's going to miss the game. If he's still in concussion protocol here on Thursday, I think you can count him out. It would be a bit of a miracle for him to make it back for Sunday. And my understanding is that he is progressing through concussion protocol, but when you look at the landmarks he needs to hit in order to actually get back on the field and play a game, it seems very unlikely to me. So Nabers probably out at this point. That's their best offensive playmaker. Devin Singletary also did not practice this day with a groin injury. Hasn't practiced this week. Apparently he did some work on the sideline, so he's not completely out of it, but I think the odds are starting to stack a little bit against him. So, looks to me like Singletary is on the fence, maybe leaning towards not playing. That's most of their offense right there. Nabers has been great so far this year. Singletary's had a fumble problem, but he's been good. Take those two guys out. What's going on in that Giants offense that is getting you excited as a Giants fan? Not a ton, right? Limited participation. We got 4 guys. We got Brian Burns, still limited. I imagine that he'll play. Wan'Dale Robinson remains limited. The good news that the Giants got is 2 of their cornerbacks, Adoree Jackson and Drew Phillips, were able to get on the field for some work today. So that indicates they probably will play. Maybe they won't be 100%, but you know those guys are going to be needed in a matchup against the Seahawks with the great receivers they have. So Giants need Adoree and Drew ready to go on Sunday, and it looks like both guys are going to be at least on the field. They'll at least be suited up. And Matt Adams remains the same. There's not much to say there. He's coming off the IR. Maybe he doesn't play because he's still trying to get back into football shape, but it also doesn't matter. He doesn't have a big role in that defense, I don't think. So that's a wrap on the injury situation. It's looking better for the Seahawks. And while the Giants list is short, the guys that are likely to be missing, it's a lot to overcome. All right, I will see you guys later. Maybe another video later today. More than likely, though, nothing until the stream of the Hawks Nest. See you guys then. Go Hawks.